He won a penalty, and then he left the pitch in tears. That is the brutal contradiction that defined Barcelona's night at the Spotify Camp Nou. It was Sant Jordi's Day in Catalonia, the festival of roses and love, where blue and red flowers are exchanged across the city. But for Barcelona, the most beautiful evening of their calendar year ended with their most precious jewel walking off the pitch, clutching his thigh, with a torn muscle and a question mark hanging over the next 3 months of his career. And beyond that, the World Cup. Lamine Yamal is 18 years old. Let that settle for a moment. 18 years old, and already the single most important player in one of the greatest football clubs on earth. Barcelona beat Celta Vigo. They took 3 points. They remain firmly in control of the La Liga title race. But none of that is what people are talking about, because the night belonged to Yamal. And then, cruelly, it was taken from him. The first half was a masterclass in what makes this teenager so different from everyone else on the pitch. He wasn't just creating chances. He was dismantling Celta Vigo's entire defensive structure with every touch. His movement was unpredictable. His direction changes were seamless. He would receive the ball in tight spaces, twist one way, shift another, and suddenly a gap existed where there had been none. Defenders could read his intent and still couldn't stop him. That is the mark of genuine quality, when your opponent understands what you are trying to do and still cannot prevent it. Yamal wasn't just being creative. He was pulling defenders toward him and opening space for teammates. He was making the whole system breathe differently. And then came the penalty, earned inside the box with a clever run and a composed touch that forced his marker into a desperate foul. He won it. He gave Barcelona the advantage. And then, he was gone. He left the field immediately after that moment, a torn thigh muscle, a feared 3-month absence. For an 18-year-old who had been lighting up European football all season, it was not just physically painful. It was the kind of moment that stops a career in its tracks, right at the point when everything was flowing perfectly. What happened after he left tells you everything you need to know about how dependent Barcelona have become on this one player. They still controlled the match. The shape held. The pressing remained. Hans-Dieter Flick's system did not collapse. But something essential disappeared. The spark. The unpredictability. That electric moment when the crowd leans forward because something impossible might be about to happen. That was gone. Barcelona became functional without Yamal. Organized, disciplined, but not dangerous in the same way. The excitement left with him. And this is the critical point that this match exposed. Flick has built something genuinely impressive this season. This is not a one-man team. He has created a collective that presses hard, defends with structure, and grinds out results week after week. The consecutive winning runs in La Liga, especially at the Spotify Camp Nou, are proof of that. This is a team with the mentality of champions. But there are 2 types of football moments. There are the moments you can build through training, organization, pressing patterns, set-piece routines, defensive compactness. And then there are moments that cannot be coached. Moments that exist only because one person on the pitch was simply born to do something the others cannot. That is what Yamal brings. It is the same quality people have reserved for very specific words throughout football history. Words like genius. The same instinctive, unprogrammable explosion that made Messi impossible to replicate. You can organize a team. You cannot teach that. Flick can improve the pressing. He can sharpen the defensive line. He can work on set pieces and transitions. But he cannot manufacture a player who makes something out of nothing in the moments that matter most. If this injury proves to be as serious as feared, 3 months out, Barcelona will navigate the final stretch of La Liga without their most dangerous weapon. Their cushion in the standings gives them room to breathe, and their collective strength means a title is still more than possible. But if that injury extends to the Clásico against Real Madrid, the magnitude of the loss becomes impossible to ignore. Because in the games that define seasons, individual brilliance is often the deciding factor. Barcelona celebrated on Sant Jordi's night. 3 points, title momentum, a crowd bathed in the colors of Catalonia under the Spotify Camp Nou lights. All of it real, but walking out of that stadium was also the image of a teenager, 18 years old, built for greatness, heading toward a surgery table instead of a training pitch. If Yamal returns quickly, Barcelona will coast toward the title. If he doesn't, Flick will still find a way, but the road will be longer, harder, and far less graceful. Because the truth of this season is simple. Barcelona have learned how to win as a team, but when the biggest moments arrive, they still need a genius to make the difference. And right now, their genius is hurt.